Welcome to the Better Workday podcast with your host, Niamh Moynihan. December is nearly upon us, winter is truly setting in, and with the change in season comes the end of year madness. Niamh, what are some ways that we can take care of ourselves during this busy season?
Hello, and welcome back to the Better Workday podcast. How are you doing? Winter has arrived in my park. The frost was on the car this morning, and the mornings are certainly a lot darker, which got me thinking about how we can look after ourselves during the winter months. And I'm talking about work, yes, but also in the other areas of our lives. So today I'm going to share my top 3 ideas for supporting yourself over the next couple of weeks. And I'd love for you to think of just one way you can implement these ideas in the weeks ahead. We're going to be talking about rest, connecting with others, and focusing on outcomes. So let's get into it. First things first, if you know me at all, you know how passionate I am about taking your breaks at work and in other areas of your life as well. You cannot do everything for everyone all of the time, no matter how organised you are. It's important for us to take breaks so we can recharge and we can return to those things with focus and with renewed energy. If you don't take your breaks, you're going to burn out. It's that simple. And I usually talk about the different types of breaks you can take, from those week-long holidays to shorter breaks. And today I really want to focus on your lunch break and micro breaks, because in the wintertime, these are more important than ever at work. Your lunch break is an opportunity for you to step away from your desk and to get outside if at all possible. We know that daylight is good for us, we know that fresh air is good for us, and we know that gentle movement of any type is good for us. When it's the wintertime, I often feel like I've got less energy, I'm a little bit more sluggish, and I'm a little bit more tired. And so getting outside for even 20 minutes makes a big difference. And what I'd say to you about this is, if your break is scheduled for, we'll say 1 o'clock, and if you're looking out the window at 12, and if it's dry, well then go at 12 if you can, and swap things around a little bit, because the weather can be very variable this time of year and we want to take the opportunities when they're there for us. And the other thing that you can do to get outside in the fresh air while we're talking about it is to really embrace the idea of walking meetings. If you are in an office and working alongside somebody and you have a meeting, then consider going for a walk instead of going into a meeting room, especially if you don't have to share slides or share screens. And if you're working remotely from somebody, you can do the same thing. If your conversation doesn't require sharing a screen, consider both of you, going for a walk. And if that isn't possible, maybe the weather doesn't allow it, even just stepping away from your desk and looking out the window or looking anywhere else except at the screen for a few minutes. All these small things can help. And coming back to the breaks then, the micro break of 5 to 10 minutes is a lifesaver this time of year, because there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do at work, and for many of us there's a lot to do at home as well, as we get ready for the festive season and the end of the year and all the family and social commitments that might bring. And so taking 5 to 10 minutes for yourself, going into another room, sitting down, closing your eyes and just taking a moment can really allow you to face those busy times with a little bit more calm, a little bit more control. And look, I know that everyone has got different things going on, and some people's busy might be good busy, might be exciting busy, and others it might be a different kind of busy or different types of days happening at the moment. And even then, it's really good just to take a few minutes for you to sit down on your own, take a few breaths and just consider where you're at and what you need for yourself, maybe first, before you go serving everybody else. And my top tips for making those micro breaks really effective is to, first of all, set a timer for the 5 minutes, to give yourself permission to take the full 5 minutes, to put your phone out of your hand. I don't care where it is, as long as it's not in your hand, and to decide what you're going to do with those 5 minutes. Are you going to meditate? Are you going to listen to some music? Are you going to relax with a cup of tea or coffee? Are you going to journal? Are you going to stretch? I don't mind what you do, but what I do find is that if you decide the action you're going to take beforehand, you're more likely to take the full micro break, which is really, really good. Now, moving on to connection to others. For a lot of people, we're approaching year end, and that can be a really, really busy time. Even if it's not year end for you, if that for you is in March or April, for example, it's still going to be a busy time as we wrap up the calendar year. I know from experience that even the busiest of us can have quieter moments, and maybe we're ahead of things, maybe you're really organised, maybe the to-do list is, nearly done. And if that's the case for you, it's good for you to think about who can you help. So often we are waiting for others to ask for help when we know how difficult that can be sometimes. So my message for you in this episode is, if you do have a bit of space, if you do have some capacity, talk to your team, see if you can help them in any way. Even small things like attending a meeting for somebody or proofreading a document for somebody. In your home life, it could be, doing some shopping for somebody or calling over with some stuff that they need. If you have any capacity, consider giving that as a gift to others. It will make you feel good. It will really help them out as well. And also, sometimes when you do other stuff that's not your own, it gives your brain a chance to think about your own stuff at a different level. You'll often find you come back to your own work then with maybe some new ideas, with a fresh perspective and with different energy. So it's a win-win really. When you're helping others, one of the best things you can do to manage your own workload at the same time then is to focus on outcomes. The to-do list might be long, it might be short, it might be somewhere in between. But with only a few weeks remaining in the calendar year, I want you to be crystal clear on what it is you want to have achieved by the end of the year and what the key actions you must do in order to achieve them. This is something I talk about all the time, understanding your outcome and knowing your must-do actions. And that's something which really stands to you. And look, if you are celebrating Christmas in a couple of weeks' time, you can apply the exact same planning approach to that. So you can identify the 2 or 3 outcomes you would like in the weeks ahead and the handful of things that you must do in order to pull that off. And you find it's often an awful lot less than all the things you feel you should do. Now, with all that in mind, I know that some days you are going to be highly motivated and ready to get stuck in to finish the year strong. And other days you might be feeling less motivated. And I always say to embrace the good days and accept the other days. And on the other days, there's a lovely statement. I've used it a lot. If you haven't heard it already, I'll say it again. If I do nothing else today, I will. So just take that statement and think about what's the one thing you can do in the day. And look, maybe it's going out for a walking meeting. Maybe it's helping somebody else. Maybe it's taking 5 minutes in a room for yourself. Or maybe it's just sitting down and getting clear on those outcomes. Whatever it is, do one thing every day that you know is going to move you forward, okay, in the direction that you're hoping to go. And sometimes that one thing is enough. Okay, that's it for me for today. Those are my top ideas for creating a better workday as we head into the next couple of weeks. I hope you found it helpful. And as I said at the top of the episode, I would love it if you just took one idea from this and implemented it in the next week or so. As always, I would appreciate it if you shared this with a friend or colleague who you think would find it helpful. And until next time, stay well and have a better workday.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. The Better Workday podcast is about helping you have a better workday. So we'd love to hear your thoughts and questions. You can find our social media details as well as any references from this episode in the show notes.